Walk me through the very last episode of Nitro because I remember watching that live. I remember it all unfolding with Shane being there. What was the atmosphere like backstage there?
Everybody was kind of really apprehensive and wondering whether they was going to have jobs, and the crew really felt bad because crew people, that was their gig, and
Sure.
they turned down other gigs, other sports gigs, and because they had booked up for like 6 8 months or whatever. So then all of a sudden now they don't have 6 8 months worth of work, and they got to try to get out in the flow and get on with football, which already has people, or get on with basketball, which already has people. And it was really hard on them, and it was hard for the crew because especially the night before we had a house show, and from all the people that was at the house show, they held a meeting and they told us, hey, there's a lot of rumors that we're selling to WWE or to WWF at the time. We just, guys, we want to tell you all that it's all bullshit. And we want you to show up down here, and this is going to work. Business is normal. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of talk, but just don't listen to the rumors because it's not true.
Wow.
And we're like, okay. So we show up, and there's Shane and Jerry Briscoe and a bunch of security guys, and they had us all go into a room, which I was cool with it because I was ready to try and make the ride because I was there for Black Saturday too. I'm one of the only people that I know that was at Black Saturday and at Panama City. And it was really similar. He offered everybody a job that was there if you wanted to come and work for him. It was but I felt more comfortable. At the first time at Black Saturday, I turned it down and stayed with the people I was working with. I could have, got in. That's a whole nother funny story too. I could have got in on the ground floor at WWE, and I didn't. Oh man, yeah, I'll tell you that story later. It's funny, but what was I talking about before I started rambling
No,
about that?
so you're there, you're in a room with Shane, Jerry Briscoe.
Oh yeah, so we're in the room, Shane and Jerry Briscoe, and I was cool because I've known Jerry Briscoe since I was a kid, and I felt comfortable talking to him. And I knew Jim Ross because I wrestled when I was a wrestler down in Mid South in Louisiana. He was there, and I wrestled there for a few months, and my dad knew him real well, so I knew some people, and I felt comfortable that whatever they told me was true. And so I sat and I talked to them, and they told everybody that everybody would be offered a job, and that they were going to have a big meeting in Atlanta, and that they would sit down and talk to everybody individually. So I was very fortunate. By that time, I had become an agent at WCW
Hmm.
and was an employee. So when they got bought out, and they told me to I was off for like 6 months before they started using me. And a lot of guys went to the little training thing that they had. So guys could get used to working because they had a 20-foot ring instead of an 18-foot ring. And it's a different company, up there, and they was trying to get guys acclimated to what they were about to get into. But
But what a surprise that must have been. Like you just show up for work and you're like,
oh, it
Shane
was.
McMahon is here?
Yeah, it was. And then there was a lot of people crying and upset because they knew that was their last time that they were going to be there, and then that things were going to change. And but that was pretty amazing, man. I was offered a job, and then they came, and I sat down with Jim Ross when he came to town, and sat and talked to him, and they didn't offer me the agent job, and I didn't want to go in up there as an agent because I agents up there, man, they had and I was really glad I thought that because I was right when I got up there. I heard Steve Kern say it when he first went up there. They'll pull you aside and say, if you're going to survive up here, you have to learn to be able to swallow a great big mouthful of shit like it. So whether you're right or wrong, and that's how
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
survive up here. And that's not that, man, that's just really not me. I figured I could still have a job, which I really needed a job. I told you my son's autistic, but my kids were still in school. I wanted to get my kids through school. And so I said, hey, a referee job is fine with me. And they offered me, I took a $50,000 a year cut in pay, guaranteed base pay. I was making a certain amount as an agent at WCW, and they offer you a certain amount base pay at WWE, but you get paid a percentage. And I always got more than my base pay, always. a good bit more. So, but on paper to look at
Yeah.
it, to go from one and the other to be a $50,000 difference,
Yeah.
you're like,
You get a percentage of what, the gate?
yeah.
Yeah.